This week, we have June's Steam hardware survey, and it's raised some interesting questions. Plus, what percentage of games receive a playable or verified rating on Steam? We'll dig into it. And how did Valve manage to make the Steam Deck the #1 global top seller on Steam? All of this and more today. That's right, it's Steam Deck news time. Okay, first up, news site Boiling Steam has an interesting report this week, breaking down the verified and playable titles on Steam. According to the article, Valve's on a regular pace of validating about 500 games per month, or about 6,000 games a year. That's a decent enough clip, and it's backed up by a bunch of data. We can see a relatively steady march of verification with this handy graph provided by Boiling Steam. Now, the green here are verified titles, and the yellow are playable. While early verification had a mostly even split of ranking, over the ensuing months, verified has become a more exclusive classification. This could be due to the more liberal application of the verified rank early on. Now, Boiling Steam also released another graph on their Mastodon account showing the breakdown of all three classifications over time, those being the aforementioned verified and playable and the unsupported class. Now, here we can see that there are about 13,300 games tested by Valve so far against the Steam Deck's verification criteria. 75% of them have been given a playable or verified status. Now, this means a quarter of the games that we have seen tested under this program were given the unsupported badge. Keep in mind that there are many instances of unsupported games that are still playable on the Steam Deck given a little bit of legwork by end users. But this is still a healthy pace for the Steam Deck to be on. If these numbers hold true with the rest of the games on Steam, then about 75% of games will be supported in one way or another on deck. And it also gives Valve room to improve. If they can get that number up to 80% or 90%, or they can convince developers to support Proton or native Linux, there would be little room to complain from gamers. Sticking with the statistics and numbers for a bit, this week Valve released their monthly hardware survey results with some interesting insights. While the growth of the Linux user base is slightly down month over month, the fact is, the Linux use is still growing. Just 0.03% less than overall Steam growth. And SteamOS Hollow now accounts for 39.33% of all Linux distros in use. So these are all relative numbers, and what makes all of this interesting is that Valve has renamed its graphics chip for the Steam Deck. And it looks as though the Steam Deck's graphics chip has seen a large increase in usage. But has it really? Last month, the Steam Deck's graphics card was reported as AMD Custom GPU 0405, and it accounted for some 25.38% of all Linux users' graphics cards. And this number was pretty much in line with SteamOS Hollow's numbers. This month, AMD Van Gogh has taken Custom GPU 0405 out of the running. AMD Van Gogh is now the sole representative of the Steam Deck's bespoke APU, and the numbers roughly match the SteamOS Hollow install base. Now, SteamOS Hollow is suspiciously still not being reported on the overall Linux usage numbers. But if we do a little bit of math, we can figure out that SteamOS Hollow accounts for about half a percentage point, maybe a little bit more, of overall Steam users, which is pretty much exactly in line with the 0.57% that we see for the Steam Deck's GPU on the overall GPU ranking here. I'm developing a spreadsheet that's going to help us with breaking down these numbers going forward, and if you'd be interested in helping out with that, if you're good with spreadsheets and formulas, let me know on Twitter in the DMs or on Discord, and we can work on this together. I think it should be pretty interesting when this gets all done. Next up, let's talk about these transparent Steam Deck cases from JSAUX. They're pretty slick looking. I'm partial to the purple one here, if you can't tell. That's one of my favorite colors. But honestly, all three of these look great. They're $36 for the front cover by itself and $50 for the entire case. And you can use my link below to support the show. Now, I'd recommend only doing this if you're confident in your ability to disassemble and reassemble delicate PCBs and ZIF connectors, as well as dealing with really strong adhesives and removing the screen from its frame. I have to say that while I am gaining confidence on my own ability to work on the Steam Deck's internals, as my last video was all about installing the GuliKit electromagnetic joysticks, which you can find up here, it was actually a pretty simple process, but I think that this case mod is way outside my wheelhouse still. But I'd love to know what you think about this. I mean, do you want one of these transparent Steam Deck shells? And if you do, will you be installing it yourself? Leave me a comment and let me know. And while you're down there, why not like that smash button? It's the best way to tell YouTube that you want to see more videos just like this. You can also subscribe if that's more your speed. I want to give a special shout out to Marcus Batson, one of my top tier Singularity members on Patreon. It's because of people like Marcus that I've been able to build this show into what it's become today. So if you believe in the work that I'm doing here and you want to get your name listed on screen just like this, you can use the links below. It's all greatly appreciated. All right, back to the show. The Steam Summer Sale is in full swing right now, where you can get some awesome deals on games that you've been wishlisting. The sale lasts through July 13th, so you've got a little less than a week to take advantage of the discounts here. There are some huge deals on games right now, including 80% off Metro Exodus, and the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is 50% off. But I think the standout thing that's most relevant here is the Steam Deck is up to 20% off right now, and that's pretty nuts. I mean, this is the biggest discount we've seen on the Steam Deck yet. You can get the 64GB model for only $359. And the 256GB version for $449. And finally, the 512GB model is 20% off at just $519. Now, because of this, the Steam Deck is now the #1 global top seller across all of Steam, even though it's not available in the majority of regions across the globe. Like I said, these are the biggest discounts that we've seen for the Steam Deck so far, and they've been going out of stock pretty quickly. So make sure that you check availability and pick one up if you want to, and if it's available in your area. Plus, the official docking station is also 20% off right now, which is a pretty big deal. I have a bunch of docks and a bunch of USB dongles, and I gotta say that my favorite by far is the official Steam Deck dock. And there's a tremendous collection of top-selling games for the Steam Deck as well. You can check the link in the description to find those. Next up, let's talk about the Ayaneo Air S1. Now, this is reportedly the smallest PC handheld ever, where the Steam Deck is 669 grams and the Ally is 608. The S1 is just 450 grams. The S1 also has an AMOLED display, a Ryzen 7 7840U with 8 cores and 16 threads, and an RDNA 3 Radeon 780M GPU with 12 compute units at 2.7 GHz. Now, all of this sounds great on paper, but with this thing shipping Windows by default, as we all know, any handheld PC that ships with Windows is effectively dead on arrival as far as I'm concerned. There's one wrong choice for handheld PCs, and it's Windows. It will take a few months after the release of the hardware for Chimera OS and other gaming distros to actually support this hardware, and by then the manufacturer will already be drumming up FOMO for their next device. So I'm gonna stick with the Steam Deck. All right, let's talk about the beta client updates that have hit over the last week. Last Friday, Valve pushed a beta update that fixed a hang when resuming from sleep in game mode, as well as improved the responsiveness of showing Steam's sys-tray menu in desktop mode. They also fixed a few other issues with other desktop UI elements and Steam input. On Monday, Valve pushed a change that fixed a few issues with the overlay and with desktop mode. In the overlay, they addressed an issue where some taller sections in the controller summary preview were cut off at the bottom, and they fixed an error message sometimes displaying when showing a notification. For the desktop features, they were mostly small style improvements, including icons for the What's New box not loading, the date-time tooltip not rendering, and they fixed emoticons in chat expanding over the entire window when you hover. They also fixed the style for the low battery notification. And finally, on Thursday, they added a sound when displaying a notification on desktop mode. They fixed a similar issue in big picture mode and fixed several other problems. Interestingly, though, they made a Linux-specific fix that should improve compatibility with various window managers. This is a toggleable setting that should help users on many different Linux distributions. Before I let you go, I gotta mention the merch that we have going on. There's still a few days left to pick up a Steam Deck inspired t-shirt over on store.heavyelement.io. You can use the 4th of July code to save on shipping, and it all goes towards helping this show grow. Well, it's been quite a week for the Steam Deck, and hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, why not get subscribed? And what do you think about any of the stories that we covered in this video? Did we miss any? Leave me a comment and let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. I want to shout out my friends on Patreon, my YouTube members, and our ViewSync Premium subscribers who make what we do here a reality. If you believe in the work that I'm doing, you can use the links below to support this show. That's going to do it for now, though. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.